a little shorter than everyone else. Hello, Houston. How are you doing today?
Very good.
I thought it was starting to rain for a second. I'm glad it's holding off. This is actually my 6th In the Fed rally. I've been to In the Fed rallies in Kansas City several times. That's where I was born and raised, as well as Chicago. And, you know, in that time period, the Fed hasn't really changed a whole lot. But I sure have. And today, I want to make this conversation personal. And I want to talk about what we can be doing as individuals to work toward ending the intrusive power of the Federal Reserve in our lives and stop asking other people to make the changes for us. And I know that there are very good intended political movements that are working toward the same ends. But I think that we, as individuals, are much more powerful when we are acting on our own accord instead of asking supposed representatives to do it on our behalf. So what is the solution? It's not easy. It involves a lot of risk. It's living free. That is the solution. You have to stop using and empowering the tools that are so oppressive and evil in our lives. That includes the use of the Federal Reserve note. That's not going to be easy, is it? That's how we all buy food. That's how we all make a living for the most part. The Federal Reserve note is in nearly every one of our pockets, and it is how we function. But it is time that we as individuals start empowering ourselves to live our lives a different way, to start living free. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing as an individual to work towards this end. And I'm going to look for feedback on what I can do better, and hopefully I can inspire you to walk by my side and to start engaging in some of the same activities. It was about this time last year that I decided I was no longer going to work for the Federal Reserve in the capacities that I could help it. I would not take the Federal Reserve note if it was an option for me not to in exchange for my labor. So I started working on bartering my skills for my needs. So when I first hooked up with Brave New Books, our first relationship wasn't me working behind the counter. It was me saying, hey, I need a Berkey water filter. You guys need a new website. How about I make you a new website and you guys provide me with clean, fresh water? And that was my first barter transaction. I traded my skills, something that cost me $0, and I gave them my time, I gave them my energy, and I was able to have clean water without fluoride in it. So when I was pregnant with Aliana, I didn't have to drink poison water, and I didn't have to spend an evil Federal Reserve note to do it. Now, I was met with great resistance. Even John himself said, bartering? What are you doing bartering? You need money. You have to pay your bills. You have to pay your rent. You have to pay your cell phone. Well, you know what? I don't have that $125 a month cell phone bill anymore because I got rid of it. I now have a pay-as-you-go phone, and I will not continue to use the Federal Reserve if I don't have to. So that was something I cut out. I said, you know what? I don't need this anymore. I do not need this. I can find another way. And I did. Now, unfortunately, I do spend about $20 a month on my pay-as-you-go phone. It's still a Federal Reserve note, but it has significantly decreased in the amount that I am using. I have found many ways to barter, and John and I are working really hard on creating a community in Austin where you don't need the Federal Reserve. We have gone around to vendors at farmers markets, vegetables, meat, eggs, cheese even, in exchange for silver. We have found veterinarians that will take silver. We've also bartered our time and energy. We created a website for an animal clinic, and we were able to have the last days of our dying dog cared for and provided without the use of the Federal Reserve. There are hairstylists. You can get your hair cut with silver in Austin. You can go to the dentist with silver in Austin. There are choices and places for you to go simply because we went around walking on our feet and said, hey, what do you think about silver? Everybody knows that the dollar is basically worthless. And when you talk to people in the general public, they understand that. We don't have to preach to the choir. We can go out and we can talk to the community and build an infrastructure of our own that is not dependent on these crooks right here. We can do it ourselves. Woo! Now, I really believe that this is going to happen very quickly as soon as people start to realize, sorry, trying to block the wind, it's not working. As soon as people start to realize the power that they have in their own selves, This is going to move very quickly. We will stop asking for permission. We will stop asking for them to act on our behalves, and we will begin to act on our own. We will go turn in our Federal Reserve notes, and we will get silver. When we do labor, we will ask for something other than the Federal Reserve note. Now, some of us are going to have to lower our standard of living, supposedly. I, quite frankly, have found that mine has improved. I now have chickens that lay eggs for me. I have a garden in the backyard that produces food for me. We have a relationship with a vendor where John produces videos for them, and they provide us huge baskets of food. I've learned how to can. Do you know what a blessing that has been for me? And that is something that I'm going to be able to teach my daughter so that she can grow up as an independent, strong, sovereign individual who can take care of herself. To me, that is the most important thing that we can be doing, is we can be leading by example. Stop asking for permission, start taking ownership, and teach the future that they don't have to live a life where politicians dictate what happens in our society. That's our choice. We get to decide how things happen. And when we stop giving them our time and energy and the fruits of our labor, they will cease to exist. We will not have to ask them to destroy themselves, because they will be destroyed by the fact that we are not empowering them anymore. I'm going to keep this really short and sweet, guys. I ask that you please invest in silver, invest in each other, invest in yourselves, and in the Fed without going head to head. Thank you.